Hello again. Wanted to give another part of my story, and I am definitely not a pro at posting these videos, so if I go to ramble on and whatever, just excuse me. I'll just blame my age on it. And gotta love the humidity here in Florida. Forget having a good hair day in Florida, especially during the summertime. So just for those that haven't seen my other videos, I am recently diagnosed with breast cancer and aggressive invasive ductal carcinoma. I am HER2 positive, estrogen positive, progesterone positive, and I guess my staging was about at a 2B, which doesn't really sound all that bad, but as we know, anytime anybody has cancer of any level, it's bad. But the grade, I've learned, is more important, and I do have grade 3, which makes it aggressive. I guess they figure that the mass is growing at about 1% per day. So where I left off was, I first experienced some symptoms, something wasn't right back in the summer of 2022. Life happened, taking care of my stepfather since my mother had just passed away, making sure he was getting his needs met. And then he passed away in February of 23. I started a change in career and wanted to become an EMT. I love healthcare. I've been in healthcare before, but as a veterinary technician many years ago, was in that career for several years. So fast forward to October of 2023, I wasn't feeling well. Went to the emergency room. I was feeling really that unwell. And it was COVID, nothing serious. They did blood work, and my blood work was stellar. That was their words, not mine. Again, I was 53 at the time. I'm not on any medications. I've never had any surgeries, procedures, or anything of that nature. Never had any health crises pop up in my life ever. The following month, November of 2023, started having some issues with my menstrual cycle. Something was a bit off. It warranted a visit to the ER, most definitely. And I, through a couple of procedures, diagnosed with uterine fibroids. And internally they did check and to make sure there weren't any other masses that were questionable, and they were just fibroids, and I was fairly confident of that. Again, blood work was completely stellar for it, even though I felt like I might have been kind of anemic. But I went about my business, and I was only getting insurance every couple of years because of how well I felt my health was doing. But unless you have x-ray vision, you can't really see what's going on the inside of you. So fast forward to May of this year, and I will digress a little bit to say that I did notice that this mass was starting to get bigger. It wasn't getting bigger and smaller, following the pattern of my cycles. It was staying large, and it was quite noticeable as well, starting to hurt. But in May, I noticed one of my left side axillary lymph node was enlarged. I let it go for a couple of weeks because, of course, your lymphatic system is just supposed to filter out any illness that is going on in your body, and it sometimes just resolves itself. But in this case, it did not. I actually ended up going to the ER because my arm was going numb. It was tingling, and at one point I had no feeling in it. The arm felt heavy. I was nauseous, I was sweating, and I thought I was having signs of a heart attack, so that's why I went into the emergency room. I was not going to play around with this. However, in the emergency room, as part of the story, I did mention the mass that I was feeling, and lo and behold, some blood work was done and a CAT scan was done. So when the doctor came into the room, I'll never forget, May 19th, I'll never forget that date, and I will never forget the ER doctor's name. He came in the room and he was saying how good my blood work is. And prior to that, let me step back a little bit. When he came in, he kind of pulled the curtain around, and I could tell by the expression on his face that, I don't know, something wasn't right. And I was like, oh boy, here we go again. Because I know it wasn't a heart attack after they did my EKG in the triage area. So again, he explained that my blood work looks really, really good. But the CAT scan did show a tumor on my left side, and also in the lymph nodes. So of course he said this was a Sunday, so he's like, on Monday I'm going to strongly urge you to call a breast health navigator so she can help you maneuver further diagnostic testing. So that's when the fun really began. So I'll go ahead and leave you with that. I will check back in with all of you lovely people